Patricia Summersett, and you're watching Life, Love, and Pop Culture.
You lent your voice to Nintendo's latest addition to the Legend of Zelda franchise. Tell me a little bit about the process.
I ended up voicing this project, Breath of the Wild. I had submitted some materials to various casting directors, and from there had gotten this audition, not knowing what it was, for particularly, which is pretty common in the video game world. You do auditions, and the title of the project is kept secret. So from that initial audition, I got a call back for this role, and went in for the callback weeks later. Found out that I landed the part, and it wasn't until several weeks after that, when we began recording, I was told that it was in fact Princess Zelda, which pretty much, flipped my world. It was pretty cool.
I think it would be hard to convey emotion without showing it.
It's true, and I suppose in that way, I find there's a lot of crossover between film, TV, and voice, but maybe in that way in particular, voice work can sometimes be really its own thing. I find singing and stuff helps with also getting better at that genre of expression. But really, ultimately, I think whenever you're building a character and stuff, I think of it as a full-bodied character, and I always come from a background in theater, so that's how I approach Zelda, and that's how I approach pretty much anything else.
How did you get started as an actress?
My background was originally ice dancing, so I started as a competitive ice dancer, which eventually led to a bit of theater in high school, and that brought me to theater school in Montreal, and I ended up attending theater school in Montreal, and then just sort of developed theater and voice acting kind of in parallel at the same time, because I really liked voice acting right away as soon as I realized it could be part of my career. But yeah, I've always been training for performance from a very young age, from the age of 6. So those things, when you're an adult, they come back to you, and you just, I don't know, you rely on the things that you loved when you were a kid, if you're lucky, I think, and yeah, that's what I've done.
How did you go from being a competitive ice skater to becoming an actress?
Good question. I mean, it's not like a direct leap. You don't just like leap off the ice onto something else, but in a sense, they are very similar. With ice dancing, you spend a lot of time training your whole body, and a program is essentially a story. It's a narrative, so you spend a lot of time in the soundtracks or the story of a movie or a piece of theater, depending on what music you use. And so you do kind of channel characters as well. And dance and theater, they're very similar. And it actually, when you do projects like motion capture, for example, I find that it's directly relatable. Any theater training I've done, I use directly when I do vocab for kind of envisioning things, being really precise, repeating things over and over again. Like an athlete, I think athletics in general are really good when you want to perform.
Have you faced any obstacles in your career?
Constantly. I mean, I think the interesting thing about this industry is everybody has to make their own way into it, and there are always questions in front of you, and there's always the chance to both innovate and create new things for yourself, and to stop when you don't know what's going on. So that just sitting with the unknown is a big part of being in this industry at all. So that can be a constant challenge, just depending on what's going on in your life. And you do sort of, it's an edgy career in general, which can be both thrilling and super challenging at the same time.
How do you stay so positive and not let the negativity get to you?
I'm not always like that. I definitely have my moments, but I think after a certain amount of time, I think cultivating positive energy around yourself, and I think sometimes the work, like your body of work, begins to speak for itself. So if you're consistent for a lot of years, that's really helpful in reminding yourself that you came from something. You can see the patterns of the ups and downs that happen. Like you do a project, it stops, it's over, and then another one comes out of nowhere. When that happens enough, you get used to the sort of, you find a balance within the strange up and downness of the career. So I rely on that. I rely on, my own history, partly.
What do you want to be remembered for?
That's a really amazing question. What do I want people to remember me? I think a holistic artist is something that I strive for. Inspiring, positive, generous. Actually, just being a really good person with a great personality is one of my the top things that I care about. It's funny because it's easy to forget that that is in fact under everything that one attempts to do sometimes. But yeah, that's definitely key. So obviously, talent and the projects themselves can help build that, but ultimately, like, just remaining steady, generous, and out there in the world and inspiring. Yeah.
If you enjoyed my interview, subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to look out for new videos every Wednesday.